So there's a topic I know you want to talk about. Let's talk about
yes,
it.
so it's this topic that's been buzzing in.
Yeah.
I can't say it's been buzzing in my house.
But it's been buzzing about your house.
It's been buzzing about our house. And so my wife came out and talked about how we split things 50-50 in our home.
Yeah.
And so it became a big conversation about, men and women, who splits 50-50, who pays the bills and all these things. And then she recently came out and she said that she's in her soft era now, that she don't want to do 50-50 anymore. And I'm the kind of person, Jenna, that when my wife came to me and, we had a conversation about not everything 50-50, but, buying our house together, doing certain things for our family together in a 50-50, situation, I was like, sure, baby.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do. And if she come to me and she say, I don't want to do it, I'm like, sure, baby. If that's what you want to do. Now, the house may be a little smaller.
Yeah.
If we just going off my salary.
Yeah.
But it's all good. What about you?
Wait, hold on. But then we have to watch this clip because we want to hear what her talking about it. Let's listen real quick.
I famously said 50-50 or bust, right? And I meant that financially, spiritually, emotionally. And there's just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 90. There's days I don't and I need him to be 100. It's brought us closer because he knows it's not about whether he can afford it. It's being vulnerable enough to be open enough to know that I'm okay. I'm okay as his wife. He's okay as my husband. I'm okay in this family. I'm okay in this home. I deserve it. And so I'm trying to expand my heart, expand all of the notions of what vulnerability can look like.
Dwayne Wade is probably one of the most disappointing people in entertainment, in athletics that I've seen in a long, long time. This is a man who comes from a somewhat strong, you can say Christian background, a man that comes from somewhat of a strong relationship with his father. But yet he's out here pushing his son to be the face of transgender. And he's out here with painted fingernails and walking around all feminine, doing feminine poses on this particular show, and even talking about walking around with a merce.
You famously have a merce.
Yeah, I've been carrying a merce for a very long time.
Look at this.
Well, where y'all find these photos? That's when I was wearing it across my body. There we go. Look at that.
Wait, are y'all in Paris?
Yeah, Fashion Week.
That's like schoolgirl chic or something right there.
Yeah, listen, I don't understand. Like, men, we normally have to put our wallets and our phones and our money and everything in our pockets. Like, I pay a lot for these clothes. I am not trying to walk out like that. So now I get to put stuff in the bag.
Here's your merce.
See, this is my travel bag right now. This is my travel merce.
And you know how I talk about that black triumvirate, the church plant pastor, the black civic organizations, the black Greek letter organizations, the Prince Hall Freemasons, the politicians, the academics, the media folks, and athletes and the entertainers. Dwayne Wade's been utilized to further feminize black men. That's right. And I've made plenty of videos about him and his wife who are being utilized to further feminize black men. He is the face of the outright assault to feminize black men. And so because the culture is so feminized, because the culture doesn't know what true masculinity looks like, especially biblical masculinity, when a person makes a comment like Anthony Mackie was when talking about American masculinity, people get upset.
But for you, how do you balance being a father with everything Hollywood? And what messages from your upbringing do you impart with them as they grow?
With Captain America is interesting because I try to keep my boys outside of it. Like, I don't want my boys affected by it or even acknowledge the idea of what Hollywood is and what it means to the general populace. Because I want them to find their own path. And we're blessed. Like, we're put in a position where we can afford our kids the best. Mm-hmm. We're in a position where our grandkids, our great-grandkids will be provided for. We weren't like that.
Right.
I know on the West Bank you wasn't like that.
No doubt.
Yeah, y'all ate, Vienna sausages and poke and beans,
I did, though.
That's what I'm saying. But that's
up.
real.
Yeah.
That's where we came from. I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. My boys don't do all that internet fly. I'm like your kids. And no, I don't give a I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Do not. And my oldest gets it. My 15-year-old, he tells the other ones, he's like, yo, don't make dad mad. Because once you get one that's right, he gonna straighten the other ones out. So it's just that thing of, you know, in the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities for one reason or another. But I raised my boys to be young men. And however you feel about that, you feel about that. Right. But my boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open a door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. And that's always since they were 2 years old. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you're the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up.
I love that.
Because we're men. If I'm not there to protect, he got to be there to protect. Because you can have all the money in the world, motherfucker climb through the window, that money means nothing. Right. You can have all the celebrity in the world, motherfucker jump through the door, that celebrity means nothing. Yeah. So you got to have a little guard in there, you know? And so for me, it's always that idea of American masculinity is very different. You feel it when you go to Europe. Like you see these and you're like, could bust boy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You go to Europe. Tight pants. Yeah, tight pants. Motherfucker, good, boy, you better lotion your ankle. Like you feel it when you go to Europe. Even when you, like I was just in Kenya and I was walking around, I'm like, yeah. Dude was like, you ain't from here. Like, nah. Like, yeah, I could tell. I know you can. I could tell I ain't from here. You know what I mean? It's just that American male masculinity is something I think is very important for boys. Because now our little boys are afraid to fail, so they don't try.
Death of the American male. Death of American masculinity. That is a theme that has been constant on my channel ever since I started. There has been a coordinated attack on American masculinity, in particular, and more specifically on biblical masculinity. What Anthony Mackie said there, I've said the same thing to my son. Whenever I'm going out of town, I tell him to make sure he's responsible around the house. We have to teach our young boys how to be men, especially in the black community, because so many of us have been brought up in these fatherless homes. We don't know what it means to be a man. We don't know what it means to be masculine. And you're getting all of these signals from these folks that want to twist, pervert God's order, where they want the man to be a woman and the woman to be a man. And so it's great to hear what Anthony Mackie is talking about, because that attack on masculinity, especially black men in the black community, has been going on for the last 6 years. Like I say, over and over and over again. With the civil rights movement and the Great Society programs of Lyndon Baines Johnson, the black man was targeted and kicked out of the house, and the black woman was elevated. And so that has distorted, disturbed, disrupted the biblical order in the black community, and we have never recovered from that. Never recovered from that. So when he's talking about the death of the American masculine male, of the American male, he should have said the death of the black American male. That's exactly what he's talking about. The death of black American masculinity. That's what he's talking about. And that has been the strategic attack. And the reaction to him saying that further illustrates this point.
Mel,
okay, now so hold on.
There are systematic efforts that are out there to discredit and silence.
I'm not talking.
But you have to acknowledge that too,
I'm not.
Mel, wait. Listen, you should acknowledge the fact that there is a movement to discredit the black man, to discredit men.
The straight black man.
The straight,
not just black man, the straight black man.
Online, they're showing that women have all this power and women are in control of the home, and the black man are not here to take care of their children.
Legislation says different.
Legislation where?
Legislation that's being passed, Roe v. Wade being overturned, the anti-abortion laws. There is literally...
We're talking about social media that's being fed to our children.
Okay.
And now if you go on here, there's always something to discredit the black man. You know that and I know that. So that's what the point we're getting at, is that there's something that's going on. Not taking away that there's not, we know that there's predators out there. We know that there's men out there that take advantage, but there's also a lot of great men out there that take care of their family, that provide for their children, that protect the home, and that's not being highlighted anymore.
I'm going to say this in closing because I feel like we have rehashed the bear conversation a bunch.
That's true.
But if the bear conversation is being had through the lens of only sexual victims and victims of, then you have now answered a question while erasing the rest of the field of men, good men, cornerstone men, legacy building great men. You are erasing that and answering the question through the lens of trauma and pain and horrible experiences with men. So when you hear Anthony Mackie describe what it is to be a man, where is the confusion at? We're not talking about men that do that. We're talking about men, and men should be acknowledged.
Because the two things have nothing to do with each other. Listen, all right, look, so just wait.
Okay.
Just wait.
I'm done.
The idea,
because she's not gonna get it no matter what you say.
But you don't get it.
But you
don't get it. You don't get it.
You feel like you're part of the problem because you also highlighted that pressure could be too much for the 15-year-old son. That's the first thing you went to.
We are going all over the place. Listen, whoa. Just one second.
But you made an excuse for him.
Wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. He brought up the bear. That was not
it has everything to do with the erasure of men and what it is to be a man.
Look.
And that's a man telling you.
No, just wait 1 second.
But even that, a man can't tell you nothing.
We are so used to looking down upon black men. Not saying you're doing it, but people is. Because the first thing you said, and I said this when he said about what he's teaching his 15-year-old son, is that you made an excuse by saying that.
It's not an excuse.
Do you think
I asked a question.
You asked a question, sorry, Mel, saying that do you think it may be too much pressure on this child?
Do you want to know why?
We don't think that.
Do you want to know why I asked that?
We teach our boys.
Do you know why?
I want to know why you asked
this is why I asked it.
Yes, ma'am.
Simple reason why. Because as black people, black women, black men,
yes,
we are forced to grow up a lot faster than we should. Okay? We are looked at as more mature than our years actually, dictate. And that is unfair. That's unfair to both black female children and black male children. They should be able and they should be allowed to have a childhood, full childhood. That was the only reason why I asked. Had nothing to do with him making a poor decision.
I do get that, because on the flip side, the flip side of that be the girl that is maybe 13, 14, and you got to take care of your siblings now.
Yeah.
You're being forced to be,
because society. That's some of the positions that society afford to people.
And I understand that, but Anthony Mackie is very, very rich. He has a lot of money. He has a lot of access to things. I'm just talking about him specifically.
Okay,
I'm not talking about, say the single mom who's got several children and she's got to work 2 jobs. And yes, then she relies on her children. And I understand that. I'm not talking.
Is that an exception? Do you give that an exception?
And I will give him that he could be considered an exception to the rule. That was the only reason why I asked that question.
Okay.
And it had nothing. And it had nothing to do with the concept of masculinity being bad or forced upon him too early. No, it's just like he's still kind of a kid and he should be able to be a kid. That's the only reason why I asked it.
So in addition to that, on that Joe Budden podcast, look at some of these responses. He said he raises his sons to be masculine, which is homophobic. When did masculinity become equated with being homophobic? He doesn't decide if his sons want to be masculine or not. It's like he has already decided that they are straight. So gay men can't be masculine. I answer that question. No, they can't. You can't operate like a female and be masculine. Because that simple isn't true. Well, yes, it is. You can't operate outside of God's plan and call it what is not. Why does he decide his sons to be masculine? Man, people need to work on their English. What if they want to be feminine? It feels so surreal finally being given a reason to hate him. This culture, especially black culture, has been so feminized that when someone comes out and says the truth, the natural truth, people don't know how to deal with it. people react in this kind of way because they equate masculinity with toxicity. They equate being masculine, especially a biblical masculine man. Don't hold the door for a woman. Don't be gentle and firm with a woman. Don't be a leader of your home, black man. Don't do that. No, you can't be a leader of your home, black man. You gotta be like Dwayne Wade. You gotta do whatever your wife tells you to do. You gotta go 50-50. You gotta paint your nails. You gotta have a merce. Don't be a man, black man. Don't you know that? Don't be a man. We're training your children how to be feminine. That's why we send drag queens to read to them. We're training your men how to be feminine. That's why we have Tyler Perry making movies for them. That's why we're trying to put every black man we can in a dress. We're training them how to be feminine, black man. We're driving Christ, we're driving Jesus out of the black community, and we're replacing it with a secular, humanistic, Marxist ideology, a demonic doctrine that wants to place the woman in the place of the man and the man in the place of the woman. That's what they're doing. That's why I say it's the death of the American straight black man. That's what it is. We're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.